G Actions Baby.
Welcome. It's your local neighborhood psychotherapist here to cover the news. Got a lot of stuff to cover. Um, so let's go ahead and just jump right into this. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. I can go live anytime with my crazy schedule. You never know. So go ahead and hit that alarm bell. Hopefully it works. Sometimes people get the alerts and sometimes they don't. All right, let's start with the first piece of news we got here. Food inflation to the worst rises to the worst since 1979. Crazy how much stuff is costing right now. um, and again, the mainstream media is pretending like it's not happening. If you look at anything from MSNBC, totally ignoring it. You got CNN ignoring it. And they're acting like people aren't struggling right now when the majority of Americans are. The prices of food purchased by American consumers in August saw the most inflation since 1979, government data showed Friday. The personal consumption expenditures index for food was up to 12.4% compared with a year ago. That's just a year, it's up 12%, indicating that food prices were up the most year over year since February 1979. It's crazy. Um, Compared with the prior month, food prices were up 0.8%, deceleration from the 1.2% again in July. High food prices are straining the family budgets. Polling shown that 63% of American families with children are changing their eating habits compared to 31% that are not, Breitbart News recently reported. See, and the thing is, for midterms, they have to ignore this. They have to ignore this data. And but the thing is, this is what people care about the most, though. So it doesn't matter that the mainstream media is ignoring it because people are aware of this. People are talking about this, and it's going to show in the midterms. All right. Again, excuse my boomer tech. All right, let's see here. This is from the Federalist. Stock market tanked 14% since Biden inflationary boondoggle passed. Now, now they're pretending like what is it? It's called the Inflation Reduction Act, and we're saying by the numbers that I just read to you a second ago that it's not actually reducing inflation like they said it were. I said from the beginning the act is actually a farce. It's actually the green. It's a Green New Deal. Really, it really has. It's not gonna do anything to benefit our country when it comes to like food prices and inflation and stuff like that. In fact, in the studies that I've seen, is going to do the exact opposite when it comes to inflation. But the stock market is getting worse and worse as we go along here. The stock market continues its downward spiral on Thursday as the economic struggles to cope with Democrats' reckless spending adding fuel to runaway inflation. All three benchmark indexes closed under their opening value, with Dow Jones Industrial Average down more than 450 points. The Nasdaq dropped nearly 3% on Thursday, and the S&P 500 fell nearly 80 points. I need to get an update on this and see what it is really what the stock market is going to be closing at today. I didn't even check on that, but this is Thursday's numbers. I wish I would have known that prior to. So, but this is from yesterday, really. Let's see what else it says in here. The U.S. inflation rate, meanwhile, remains at a four-decade high, with the Labor Department data out in early September revealing that prices rose 8.3% last month over the year prior. When Biden celebrated the bill's passage at the White House in mid-September, markets continued to plunge as James Taylor played Fire and Rain on the southern lawn. I mean, these, I covered this when this was happening. It's like when it reminds me of when CNN was on air during the riots, and it was a building that was burning in the background, and the guy was saying it's mostly peaceful. It's like they totally ignoring what's going on around them, and just to push this crazy narrative that everything's okay, everything's actually, it's not just okay, everything is better than okay, everything is great, and they're actually celebrating it while the country is burning to the ground. In July, official GDP numbers revealed two consecutive quarters of negative growth, meaning the country is in a recession. The Biden administration responded by pretending the recession doesn't exist and sought to redefine the term. And we talked about that several times, and his lapdogs and corporate media followed the administration's lead. According to a survey published by the University of Michigan, the month before Yellen comments to reporters, consumer sentiment plunged to its lowest record. Inflation also remains at the top of voters' minds in polls after polls head into November midterms, and that's what I was alluding to earlier. No matter if the mainstream media is ignoring this, they're not talking about it. The people care about it. So, and I think they're going to vote again. People are going to vote with their dollars. There's only one way Democrats win this midterms, and that's if they do some chicanery. So we got to keep an eye out with that. If there is any crazy, wacky stuff going on, check out my Patreon. Subscribe to me on Patreon, where I'll definitely be getting into that stuff because I can't talk about that here. Oh, wow. I just realized that I don't have my lights on, so hold on one second. Did not realize I didn't have my light on. Let's get comfortable in this chair. I need a new chair. All right. Republicans call for Biden to take cognitive tests over Where's Jackie Gaff, and remember, and we see the we're gonna go over what the View has to say about it, and people caping for Biden. When they didn't, when they had all the harsh things to say for Trump, even though Trump really didn't show any cognitive decline, they made up stuff. But when we got evidence of a president of actual cognitive decline, they got the people on the View and people of their ilk actually caping for him, like we don't see what's going on. President Joe Biden's latest mishap on stage has raised new concerns from Republicans over the president, with some renewing their request for Biden to take a cognitive test. So my thing is, why won't he take the cognitive test? Remember they were talking trash about Trump. Trump took the cognitive test. He passed with flying colors, but they won't do it for. But Biden won't do it. They won't do it for Biden. Biden had been speaking at a White House conference on Wednesday when he asked, "Where's Jackie?" referring to the late Rep. Jackie Walorski, who died in August. The latest gaffe by the president, among past slip-ups, had led to Ronnie Jackson, who served as a physician to the president for both former presidents Barack Obama and Donald Trump, to ask for Biden to take a cognitive test, according to Fox News. Quote, "It doesn't take a neurologist to realize he's in serious cognitive decline," Jackson said. The American people know what's going on here, and they don't think the commander-in-chief is capable of doing his job. It's past time for White House staff and liberal media to stop shielding him from questions about his mental acuity and demand he answer my call for a cognitive test. Biden has had numerous gaffes on camera since entering the White House, such as he seemingly read a direction out loud of a teleprompter, and I covered that during the speech in July. And Greg Murphy, a practicing surgeon and vice chairman for the GOP Doctors Caucus, told the outlet that these kinds of senseless gaffes have become par for the course for the president. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre claimed that Walorski was top of mind, and I covered that I got the clip of that, and you can check the clip out if you want to see her excuse for this. When Biden made the mistake and that he was naming food security congressional champions and acknowledging her incredible work, said Senator Ted Cruz argued that the president's diminished capacity shown by his latest gaffe is so blatantly obvious that even the White House press corps couldn't hide their concern. Wolowski had died in a car crash on August 3rd, with Biden writing in a statement that her death left him and First Lady Jill Biden shocked and saddened. All right. So let's see what we got here. And even Joe Rogan talked about it. Joe Rogan said, he's so far gone, Rogan says having Biden in office is effing dangerous. And I agree. I agree. Someone joked about what if he accidentally, say, bombed the wrong country or something like that. Like, the guy's not all there. We know this. Joe Rogan said having President Joe Biden in office is effing dangerous after the president's recent comments about defending Taiwan against China and announcing solidarity against Russia's aggression against Ukraine. During Spotify's The Joe Rogan Experience podcast Wednesday, the host spoke with libertarian political commentator Dave Smith about how Biden is deteriorating. The two talked about how insane it is that Biden says insane things before Smith said, quote, the White House issued a statement that their policy has not changed. Who's the White House? Examples they gave were Biden comments about Ukraine-Russia policy and one about U.S. policy towards China and Taiwan. Quote, that's why having a guy like him in office is effing dangerous, Rogan shared. But that's legitimately dangerous, man. Rogan recalled it is why he said he can't vote for Biden, which he said he got a lot of S for. Quote, like I vote for former Donald, like I'd vote for former President Donald Trump before, I'd vote for Biden. The host shared, and the reason being, I'm a little confused. So he said he would vote for him. I'm a little confused here, and the reason being is like this. You knew he was deteriorating. Forget about his policies when he was lucid. I mean, he was lucid during the Obama administration. You barely hear from him, he added. See, regardless of what you think about his policies, like as a human, that's in position of extreme stress and power. That's nuts. That's insane. He's so far gone. Rogan and his guests questioned whether the Democrat Party should run either Biden or Vice President Kamala Harris, who they said has struggled on the world stage and wonder what the party will do about it. Yeah, people don't like Kamala Harris in the first place. Like, remember during the debates, she didn't even make it far during the primaries. The only reason why she became vice president, as we know, is because she's a female, and she's a person of color. That's the only reason why she's vice president. We all know this. The podcaster compared the vice president to the girlfriend of those really good comics who also does comedy too, but she bombs every time. Like, they trot her out every now and then. They're like, give her one more chance. Let her talk, Rogan Jared. And it's always chaos. It's like, now she's so triggered burnt. And he added, I don't know what that means, triggered burnt. And he goes on to say, you could tell that she's almost like shell shocked. Yes, she's much worse. Yeah, she's terrible. And I said it from the beginning that Harris is terrible. She don't know what she's doing, and I was called people were saying I don't like her because she's a woman, which is just untrue. Rogan said Harris, quote, doesn't seem inarticulate. She seems pretty smooth in earlier campaign speeches, but now with the world watching, that's not the case, as the two mock some of her word salad speeches. Like, she's ridiculous. And now let's check out how The View is caping for Biden. The View's defense of Biden, where's Jackie moment, was nuclear level insanity, and it was. It's crazy how they defend him. It's nuts to me. While Joe Biden has had more senile moments over his term in office than any normal person couldn't reasonably keep track of. He painted his masterpiece on Wednesday, and I'm gonna skip all of that. But while Jean Pierre showed exactly why she's the worst press secretary since the inception of the position, and that's my stance on it. That's my take on it about her. I keep saying that she's the worst she's the worst press secretary ever. No one is worse than her. She's the worst person to have this position. And again, this is another diversity hire. She's only there because she checked boxes. She's a person of color. And, she's part of the LGBTQ community. That's the only reason why she's there. And she's terrible at her job. And this is, again, I say it time and time again, this is what happened when you put people there, when you put diversity hires there instead of merit. And this is what you get. You get a crap show. So check out what Whoopi has to say about all of this. Look how she's caping for him.
Yesterday, the White House addressed a gaffe from President Biden at a conference on hunger, nutrition, and health, where he asked for a representative who died in a car accident last month. Take a look.
I want to thank all of you here. Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
The president appeared to look around the room for an audience member, a member of Congress.
Every time I see this, I just shake my head. It's ridiculous, and I don't understand how you can defend it.
Who passed away last month? He seemed to indicate she might be in the room.
Of course, she was on his mind. She was of top of mind for the president.
He said, "Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? She must not be here."
No, I totally understand. I just explained she was on top of mind.
The confusing part is why, if she and the family is top of mind, does the president think that she's living and in the room?
I don't find that confusing.
He literally says, Where is she? Why? So how do you get that confused? I mean, if someone's dead, you don't ask where they are. You know where they are. They're dead. You know. So and people, and I don't understand how can they defend this.
I mean, I think many people can speak to sometimes when you have someone top of mind, they're a top of mind.
You know, my gosh, come on. You can't go after him for, not giving aid to Florida or not tackling the infrastructure. And
Actually, we can. He's not helping with infrastructure. Infrastructures around the country is falling apart. What are you talking about? She's just saying stuff.
Giving aid to Ukraine. So
we don't want to give aid to Ukraine. We got people struggling here. So we have been criticizing that. This is what happened when you live in a bubble, Whoopi.
You can't go after him for that, but you can go after him for forgetting that someone has passed.
You don't forget that.
I mean, and she passed last month, not like 100 years.
Yeah, so it should be fresh on your mind. You're not making a case. You're not making his case.
Whoopi. Ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we dealt with that as well, where people said, that person who died 100 years ago did a great job.
Well, remember, Trump.
And she's referring to Frederick Douglass, I think, what Trump said.
Well, remember, Trump thought Frederick Douglass was still
That's what I'm
alive.
talking about.
Oh, that's true.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all have, like, when you think about when you grow up, you use the term brain fart, which I hate the word fart. But, like, you say, oh, I had a brain fart. And then you have a...
what?
Come on, Whoopi.
I'm sorry.
But then you also have, like, they say, oh, I have mommy brain. Like, we have different words. We call it different things at different stages in our lives.
That's not what the problem was here. It's not the words you use. He was literally looking around. He literally looked around for her. He literally said, "Where is she?" and was looking around. Where is she? She better be here. Like, he literally was looking for her. It got nothing to do with a brain fart. That's not a brain fart. He literally thought she should be there. See how they're caping? See how they're caping.
But I don't know a human that hasn't sat in a room and gone to say something and been like, oh my gosh.
But how many times does this happen? This happened time and time again. This keeps happening to him. It'd be understand if it only happened a few times, but now it's becoming a daily thing because something else happened again. Oh, he wandered again today. I'll show you that. So stuff keeps happening. It's not like it's like a few instances here and there. Now it's becoming a daily thing. Every day we find something wrong with this guy, cognitively.
I think that was very apparent what this gaffe was. I think her explanation made it worse, though, because in that moment, I probably would have just said, okay, guys, he had a moment. Who in this room hasn't? And then just move on.
But he keeps having these moments. Even if it was, he keeps having these moments. That's why. So why won't he take a cognitive test? That's the question. To prove everyone wrong.
The fact that she kept kind of repeating the same words.
Well, she couldn't really move on so easily since the right wing has weaponized.
But those were not right-wing
his gaffes.
reporters.
But well,
See, right wing. Those were leftist reporters. What are you talking about? See, Bayard don't know what the hell she's talking about.
In the past, yeah.
yeah. I mean, they have weaponized the gaffes. They've said that he's senile.
I mean, he's obviously having some cognitive deficits. I mean, what in the actual one who has suggested that Biden wouldn't give aid to Florida? Literally every president gives aid to states regardless of political lean when they're hit by natural disaster. Two, if Walowski passed like a month ago, wouldn't it be expected that the president should be more aware to the fact of his recency? That's exactly what I was saying. He should know that she wasn't there because it just happened like a month ago. Again, he put out a freaking statement, or at least his handlers did. Here's Goldberg, though, diminishing Walowski's death in order to defend an empty-headed old man who can't tie his own shoe at this point. It's disturbing both because of how far these women are willing to go to take a partisan defense and because they really don't care that the president of the United States isn't all there. Then you have Joe Bayard claiming it was just a brain fart. Well, if that's true, why won't the White House admit that? They can't have it both ways. Either he didn't make a mistake and everyone is crazy for interpreting what he said the way he said it, or he actually made a mistake. Pick one. Further, the reporter asking those questions about Biden flub were all from mainstream media outlets, not right-wing news, and that's the point that I was making. Those are the same. Those are the same takes that I had. And then we got her here. Let's see what she has to say.
You know, I think what it really shows.
I really do not like Sunny. I do not like Sunny.
Is that this country is so ageist. This country has.
Oh, now it's ageism. When you was calling for the 25th Amendment for Trump, that wasn't ageism. But when we calling for just for people to look at the cognitive decline of Joe Biden, that's ageism, though. When we have actual proof of him doing these things, that's ageism. You see how they do? These people are so. They walk in hypocrisy.
Has a problem with age. You know, you go to other countries and our elders are revered. They're revered because of the.
Elders are revered, but you don't have them running Fortune 500 companies when they're 80 years old. You don't have them running the country when they're 80 years old. These are the times they should be retired. They should be enjoying life. So that has nothing to do with ageism. That has to do with common sense.
Knowledge that they have acquired. And this is a man who has worked in government his entire life. This is a man who probably.
Exactly. He's been there for like 50 years. It's time for him to give it up by now.
Probably had a relationship with this woman. And yes, she probably was top of mind. I was thinking about my grandmother the other day and.
Yeah, but were you asking, hey, Grandma, where are you? You know?
Like almost reached out to call her on the phone. She passed away 5 years ago. It could happen to anyone.
Right.
And I think they need to stop weaponizing.
Their takes are horrible. Their excuses are horrible.
His age. I hate that about this country.
I think that's a good point.
It's not a good point. It's not a good point whatsoever. And who is this? Alyssa Farah. She's definitely not conservative.
And I think they need to stop weaponizing his age. I hate that about this country.
I think that's a good point. My issue was less the comment itself because people do make mistakes. And Biden, by the way, he's been gaffe prone his whole career.
That has nothing. This is not a gaffe. He literally thought the woman was there, should have been there. This is why he keeps calling it a gaffe.
I think it's actually an endearing thing about him. It was more the.
Oh, so being a gaff machine is endearing now?
Cover-up was worse than the crime. I think she could have just said, it was a mistake. This was a really important issue we were drawing attention to, addressing hunger. Jackie Walorski was a champion of it when she was in Congress and moved on. These were not right-wing reporters. This was ABC
No, but they
News.
reflect what people say.
Exactly. So that if they reflect what people say, that means American people want to know, and you're capable for them what the American people want to know.
I think it was an indelicate answer, and they gave her a lot of chances to answer.
It's ridiculousness. It's ridiculousness. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Let me put my phone on silent. Check my message really quick. Make sure. All right. Let's see what we got here. And this is more proof. This happened today with Biden. This happened today. Dr. Jill Biden nudges a confused Joe Biden off stage. So you can't say that this is a gaffe. What? You can't. This is not a gaffe. The guy's always confused. Joe Biden is completely shot. Joe and Jill on Friday hosted a reception to celebrate the Jewish New Year. Kamala Harris and her husband Doug Emhoff also attended the celebration in the East Room. Biden delivered brief remarks before exiting the stage, but he got lost and needed a nudge from Jill Biden. So check this out. Where do I go? I go this way. And look, she went over here, dear. You gotta go this way. Have you ever seen what's her name? Trump's wife. Her name escapes me. Have you ever seen her guide Trump off like this before? Like he really does never. He never knows which way to exit.
We'll be talking about that a little later today. Okay, let's celebrate.
Look, put her head down. Like oh gosh.
Right down.
Come on. This way, it's sad. Joe Biden had a rough week. Biden mumbled through his remarks on Thursday and appeared to forget the name of his own FEMA administrator. After delivering remarks, Joe Biden wandered away from the podium. FEMA Administrator Dean Criswell attempted to redirect him. We went over that yesterday. And of course we all know about the "Where's Jackie" thing. I just went over that. Joe Biden's cognitive decline is so bad that at least 6 different reporters asked Karine Jean-Pierre about Biden's confusion over Walorski. And this is these moments of confusion are happening with increasing frequency. One reporter said this week. So even the reporters are saying this is happening more often, while at the same time the viewer is sitting here caping for him like none of this stuff is happening. All right. So let's see what else we got going on here. House Republicans say whistleblowers allege FBI purging conservative employees, retaliations. So they're getting rid of the conservatives. Among the allegations is that the agency has revoked security clearances for whistleblowers who made protected disclosures to Congress. This is protected. We have whistleblower protection. Remember when all the supposed whistleblowers were coming out on Trump? You didn't see any of them lose their position. In fact, Vindman was celebrated. Remember Vindman? And even though the whole thing with Vindman turned out to be false, he was able to go into government public office after this. He ran up for public office after this. This is but if you're conservative and you're a whistleblower, you'll lose your job, or you'll be suspended. Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee say they've heard from over a dozen whistleblowers alleging the FBI is purging employees with conservative viewpoints and are calling on a top agency official to speak to them about the allegations. The request for an interview and the allegations, which also include the agency having revoked security clearances for whistleblowers who made protected disclosures to Congress, were made in a letter Thursday from the Republican members of the House Judiciary Committee to the agency's Executive Assistant Director of Human Services, Jennifer Moore. Quote, during the course of this investigation, we have received protected whistleblower disclosures that the FBI is engaging in a purge of employees with conservative views by revoking their security clearance and indefinitely suspending these employees, states the letter by Ohio Rep. Jim Jordan, the committee's top Republican. And that's the thing. If you're in government, if there's anything illegal going on, you are protected. You can disclose this stuff, and you are protected. You cannot lose your job. You're supposedly behind this. But again, we got a two-tier justice system. If you are conservative, if you're a Republican, you do not have these protections. Trust me. The letter also states, quote, many of the formal notices for those personal actions have been signed by Moore and urges that the whistleblower disclosure to Congress are protected law. Jordan also wrote that he has information suggesting Moore retaliated against at least one whistleblower who has made protected disclosures to Congress. The whistleblower, Jordan told Fox News Digital, shared information with the committee alleging the Justice Department efforts last fall to identify parents considered a possible threat to school board members at public meetings. Quote, we take whistleblower retaliation seriously, and we therefore require that you appear for a transcribed interview as soon as possible, writes Jordan in the two-page letter, also signed by fellow GOP committee members Darrell Issa of California and Mike Johnson of Louisiana. In response to the letter, the FBI told Fox Digital the agency, quote, does not target or take adverse action against employees for exercising their First Amendment rights or for their political views. To allege otherwise is false and misleading. So somebody's lying. Either the whistleblowers are lying or the FBI are lying. Which ones? Who do you believe? Do you really believe the FBI? On the matter of the security clearances, the FBI spokesperson said the agency is required to follow established policies and procedures to include a thorough investigation when suspending or revoking a security clearance, and that any FBI employees who report evidence of wrongdoings through a protected disclosure are protected from retaliation. But again, so why are the whistleblowers saying that they're being retaliated against? Both can't be true. I don't trust the FBI. Again, that's why I keep saying they need to be disbanded. Federal judge says he won't hire clerks from Yale Law, urges other judges to join. And I love this. I think this is great because of the stuff that they're doing here at Yale. It's despicable. I think Yale is one of the most racist institutions, while at the same time they're pretending and feigning like they aren't. But a federal judge said he will no longer hire clerks from Yale Law School and urge other judges to do the same. Judge James Ho of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit announced Thursday that he will no longer take clerks from the Ivy League school because of its rampant cancel culture. Anything that's conservative in Yale, you will be canceled. It's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. These are supposed to be the institutions where you challenge the norm. You're supposed to be able to ask questions. But in places like Yale and other Ivy League schools, they got these leftist bins, and they do not allow you to challenge any of the ideology. Yale, quote, not only tolerates the cancellation of views, it actively practices it, Ho said in a keynote remark at a Federalist Society conference in Kentucky. While censorship happens at the other schools as well, at Yale, cancellations and disruptions seem to occur with special frequency, Ho said. Ho urged other judges to join him and stop hiring clerks from the elite school as well. Quote, if they want the closed and intolerant environment that Yale embraces today, that's their call, Ho said. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want to cancel Yale, Ho said, according to his prepared remarks. I want Yale to stop canceling people like me. Yale has not commented on Ho's remarks. Ho was nominated to the Fifth Circuit by former President Donald Trump in 2017 and took his seat on the court in 2018. In September 2020, Trump included Ho on a list of potential Supreme Court nominees. The judge mentioned several recent incidents at Yale, including one where more than 100 students were tried to shut down a bipartisan panel on civil liberties, and police were called to escort the panelists from the building. It's just ridiculous. You can't have a different point of view. In another incident, Yale law administrators pressured a student for a week to apologize for a quote triggering email in which he referred to his apartment as a trap house. So saying this, you live in a trap house, that's triggering. What is triggering about that? People are so sensitive. The administrators said that the email was triggering in part because the student was a member of a conservative organization. How make that make sense to me? So because you are part of a conservative organization, you can't use the term trap house. Why is that? Please explain that to me, Yale. Ho has previously voiced his spirited criticism of censorship at other elite schools, including Georgetown. In February, Ho defended legal scholar Ilya Shapiro after Shapiro was suspended and investigated over a series of tweets before he could take his new job as a senior lecturer and executive director at Georgetown University's Center for the Constitution. Shapiro had tweeted that D.C.-based federal judge Sri Srivansan was the best Supreme Court pick for Biden, but he, quote, doesn't fit into the latest intersectionality hierarchy, so will get lesser black women. I don't have anything wrong. I don't think that's wrong. That's true. Look at Biden's administration. Look at these diversity hires that he's putting in. I mean, we just talked about that. So that's not an incorrect statement. Ho defended the substance of Shapiro's tweets, saying any perceived racial discrimination does not come from Shapiro. Quote, make no mistake, if there's any racial discrimination in statements like these, it's not coming from the speaker. It's coming from the policy that the speaker is criticizing, the judge said. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like Ho. If Iya Shapiro is deserving of cancellation, then you should cancel me too, Ho said. Ho's conservative interpretation of the Constitution has been evident in several of his judicial rulings. I like this guy already. In one of his judicial opinions, the conservative judge said that the current U.S. government, quote, would be unrecognizable to our founders. I agree. He wrote in another opinion that bishops have the right to, quote, express their profound objection to moral tragedy of abortion. Yeah, of course. That's the freedom of speech. That's our First Amendment. In his speech Thursday, Ho suggested judges might still be able to influence campus culture by taking action. Quote, we're not just citizens, he said. We're also customers. I wonder how a law school would feel if my fellow federal judges and I stopped being its customers. So good on him. I like this guy. I'm going to read some of his decisions. I'm going to start keeping an eye out for this guy. He would make a great federal judge, I believe. I definitely like him a lot better than Kavanaugh, to be honest with you. Let's see here. Volleyball girls banned from locker room for refusing to change in front of a boy masquerading as a girl. What I mean, we're supposed to be protecting these protecting women. We're supposed to be protecting girls, and they are doing the exact opposite in a lot of these schools. This is ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand. Where are the parents? How are they allowing this stuff to happen? At a high school in Vermont, of course, it will be somewhere like Vermont, banned girls on its volleyball team from their own locker room after they expressed discomfort with changing in front of a male who pretends to be a female. So this is not a person that's transitioned or anything like this. This is just someone who just say, hey, I feel like I'm a female. And girls, rightfully so, they feel uncomfortable changing in front of this boy. And so they say, well, if you don't want to do it, you're not going to be on the volleyball team. Like, this is madness. This is madness. Teen girls on the Rudolph Union High School volleyball team said a male student claiming to be transgender reportedly, quote, made an inappropriate comment while members of the volleyball team were getting changed. When players and their parents raised concerns, so the parents are standing up, thank goodness, raised concerns about teen girls sharing intimate spaces with someone of the opposite sex, the school told them the state law allows for students claiming to be transgender to use whichever bathroom and locker rooms they desire. The school is also investigating whether the team violated the school's harassment, hazing, and bullying policy. Quote, my mom wants me to do this interview to try to make a change, one of the volleyball girls, Blake Allen, told local news outlet WCAX 3. Quote, I feel like for stating my opinion that I don't want a biological man changing with me, that I should not have harassment charges or bullying charges. They should be dropped. Oh, so wait a minute. They're getting charged for harassment and bullying because she says she's uncomfortable with changing in the locker room with the boy. Like, this is bizarro world. This is what leftists want. They want this on in every high school around the whole entire country. In addition to threatening punishment for students for speaking up about their discomfort, school administrators claim that girls who do not want to share their protected space with the opposite sex should go out of their way to change in privacy. Quote, they want all the girls who feel uncomfortable, so pretty much 10 girls, to get changed in a single stall bathroom, which would take over 30 minutes. Where if one person got changed separately, it would take a minute, like no extra time. This is a high school girl. She's smarter than the administrators. This is ridiculous. In the same email to parents, high school officials said their investigation will primarily focus on allegations that the girls harassed the transgender student, even though the school's harassment policy specifically bars the kind of inappropriate comments the male student allegedly made. Quote, a hostile environment exists where the harassing conduct is severe, persistent, or pervasive so as to deny or limit the student's ability to participate or benefit from the educational program on the basis of sex, the sexual harassment section of the school handbook states. Administrators at Randolph Union High School did not immediately respond, of course, to the Federalist request. RUHS co-principal Katie Sutton told the Federalist Post publication that, quote, students' safety in our district is our district highest priority, but also indicated that RUHS officials, quote, are not able to discuss any specific student because of federal privacy laws. And this is ridiculous on the face of it. We live in a bizarro world. It saddens me when I see what's going on, and I fear for our children's future. Let's check this out. Radical pro-abortion TikToker unknowingly makes incredible case for life. I haven't watched this video yet, so I'm interested to see what happens. But a pro-abortion TikToker by the name of Paris Glass uploaded a series of 3 videos discussing the emotional and physical trauma she experienced from recently aborting her unborn child. The video has since gone viral, garnering more than 5 million views. While the creator intended her TikTok to promote abortion, she actually unintentionally made the greatest case for life by revealing the excruciating physical pain, emotional horror, and agonizing guilt that comes with ending preborn life. And it's a lot of women that end up traumatized from actually getting these abortions, and then later in life they have hard times with relationships and stuff like that because of this. They're very, very depressed because they think about what would have happened if I would have kept the baby. Like, I've seen it in my practice, that it can really pay a toll on someone. Glass began the first video by saying F you to anyone who would discourage her from divulging the, quote, filthy effing details of her abortion because they want abortion stories to stay a, quote, private matter. So let me see, where is the actual video? Let me just play the video. I don't want to read what she says. I'd rather see what she says. Excuse the language. I apologize. It looked like she cursed a little bit in here.
I just had an abortion. Oh my god, that's so controversial and it's such a private event. Why would you talk about it? Fuck you. I didn't know what to expect.
I could tell right off the bat that something is not really right with this chick.
Because nobody told me. I had a vague understanding of the symptoms, of course. But the filthy fucking details? So I'm here to inform you. And any conservatives who are watching who literally have no idea how this shit works. It is one of the most traumatizing things I have ever experienced.
Well, she's so dumb. She don't even notice she's making their case. That is so ridiculous. What an idiot.
I will talk about the emotional repercussions, but first I'm going to talk about the physical. Because anybody who says that people are getting abortions as birth control is either misinformed or a fucking monster. Within 10 minutes of taking the medication, I was on the toilet, shitting my guts out, and vomiting at the same time. I told you, filthy details.
This is disgusting. This is disgusting, but she's so dumb that she is actually making the case. I can't believe this. She's making our case for not do this. She's so dumb to realize this.
I was given nausea medication, but this wasn't nausea. This was due to intense pain from my cervix being forced open that was so bad my body did not know how to react. This stage lasted for 4 hours, and at about the 4-hour mark, I feel the lining of my uterus slough off. And for the next 4 hours, I would go through a cycle of intense, unbearable pain,
Pray for her, y'all. Pray for her to come to God and pray that because, I mean, she has no idea how this is going to affect her for the rest of her life.
Piece of tissue about the size of a lime coming out of my body, and then about 15 minutes where I was no longer in pain. Rinse and repeat. I don't remember a lot of that day because I spent most of it trying not to pass out. And to add insult to literal injury, I had to travel out of state for this. We knew we caught it early, but we didn't know how far along, and we live in Texas, which means there's a 6-week ban. Or at least, for now, it's a 6-week ban. But even though we caught it really, really early, we decided.
She's saying like it's a like she's saying it like it's a sickness or something. She was like, we caught it early. What? Caught what early? What did? I mean, she's acting like it was like she caught the bug or something.
To just be safe and travel. And I measured in when I got there at exactly 6 weeks and 1 day. I tested out of pure paranoia because I was 2 days late. 2. If you think 6 weeks is a reasonable amount of time, off you fuck, thank you, goodbye.
It's sad. It's sad. She's gonna look back at this in the future and wish she never posted this. I feel sorry for her. I really do, because she's gonna have a lot of issues. I already know it. She already has a lot of issues. I don't get it. In her second video, Glass admitted she one day wants children, just not now, explaining that she wants to be in an ideal financial situation before having a baby. All right, so let's where's the second video? Let's check this out.
I have decided to talk about my recent abortion on the internet because I'm not alone, and that means neither are you. I started this process yesterday when I opened up about the physical trauma that I experienced. But today I want to talk about the circumstances surrounding my abortion. It is absolutely not shocking that I got about 1.5 million comments from conservatives saying, well, you should have used birth control and you shouldn't be sleeping around. I have been on birth control since I was...
What is wrong with accountability? It's accountability.
15, and I've been in the same relationship with the same man for over 8 years. I'm 24, I'll let you do that math. But also, it shouldn't...
She probably let us do the math because she can't do it.
fucking matter. Pregnancy is a life-changing event, regardless of who you are. But I...
So you're being selfish. She's admitting that she's being selfish.
I want to speak on my personal experience. So, hello conservatives. Welcome to hate watching my video. I do want kids. I want kids. But here's the thing though. I want to give my children no less than the world. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I had a child this early. Because I'm waiting, I have the opportunity to build up a financial base so that I can properly care for children. If I had a baby right now, I would never gain that financial footing. Absolutely everything I do at this point in my life is with the goal in mind of raising my children to be healthy, functioning, happy adults. And that includes...
She is 24. She says she's 24 years old. I don't understand. Look, how are you 24 years old and look how she look? She's still a child. That's why she's not ready for it. She's selfless. She's selfish.
My recent abortion. Because the quality of life that I want for my children would never be attainable if I started having kids now. And if the quality of life that you want for children, for other human beings, is simply existence, that is a you problem that you are now making everybody else's.
This is evil. She's saying so existence. Oh, this is evil.
And I can already feel the comments, what about adoption? Notice how earlier I said pregnancy is a life-changing event. I'm currently on medications that would damage a fetus. I will not be able to have.
Okay, that the medication she's on is probably antidepressants and all time. I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't really know, but that's probably what the real issue is. She's suffering from some type of mental health issues. Is what the problem is, I believe.
A healthy pregnancy until later when I can plan and switch my medication specifically for that. If I had to go through with an unplanned pregnancy, I would have to stop my medications, which would cause me to have chronic seizures, and I don't think that's great for a pregnancy either.
Oh, seizure stuff.
You will never know the circumstances behind an abortion unless somebody tells you, and they shouldn't fucking have to.
I don't get it. There's tons of contraceptive ways, things that you can do so you don't have to go through this. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Let me see. What is this one here?
I have decided to talk about my recent abortion on the internet because I'm not alone, and that means neither are you. I started this process yesterday when I opened up about the.
Okay, I can't anymore because this is really starting to get me feeling some type of way, and I don't want. It's Friday. I don't want to feel like that today, so I'm not gonna. You get the point. Something's definitely off with this chick. All right, let's talk about Zelensky and this crazy stuff here. Why are we still giving these people money? Why? Zelensky shocks world, announces Ukraine has applied for accelerated NATO membership. See, they're pushing us towards war. First, the thing blow up. And we know. I don't think it was Russia behind the blowing up of Nord Stream 1 and 2. I definitely think it was someone from the West playing this. Because that's why so soon after it blows up, now he want to get accelerated and pushed into NATO. They're pushing us towards World War III. This is exactly what Russia warned us not to do. We're actually keep going towards bringing in Ukraine into NATO, which we promised and we made a deal with Russia years ago that this would never happen. And this is exactly what happened. So this is why Russia is going into Ukraine. They're pushing, this is what the elitists want. This is what the New World Order want. They want a war with Russia. That's what this is. They want to bring the West into this war, and the only way to get the West into this war is to keep pushing Russia, to keep poking the bear, and that's exactly what's going on right here. They continue to poke the bear, and that's what this is. Just hours after Russian President Vladimir Putin announced his intentions to annex 4 regions of eastern Ukraine, President Vladimir Zelensky revealed that he has formally applied for NATO membership. So let me save this article because this is going to be very, very important. I know I'm going to have to reference it again and possibly write about it. But according to a breaking Reuters report, Zelensky said Friday via a Telegram video post. People really do use Telegram, huh? I think I have a Telegram, but I never use it. Post that he signed off on a fast-track membership paperwork for his nation to join the alliance. With his prime minister and speaker of parliament by his side, the Ukrainian president would reportedly be seen signing the document. Look at these despicable people. The move to request NATO membership, many predict, will be seen as an escalation of the country's war with Russia. Absolutely, that's my point. As its communist neighbor has repeatedly threatened Ukraine against joining NATO. What? Russia's communist? Russia is not a communist country. I wouldn't call them. They're not a I wouldn't call them really a democracy either. But they definitely aren't communist. That's because if NATO approved Ukraine's application, it would mean that the United States and other Western powers would be forced in defending Ukraine from Russia's continued onslaught, likely resulting in World War III scenario sooner than later. And that's my point. They're trying to escalate this. They're trying to push us into World War III. I'm gonna have to tweet about this. To be accepted fully into NATO alliance, all member states would have to pass a unanimous vote. President Zelensky made several comments regarding his desire to join the Western alliance. Quote, "We have already made our way to NATO. We have already proven compatibility with the alliance standards. They are real for Ukraine, real on the battlefield, and in all aspects of our interaction. We trust each other, we help each other, and we protect each other. That's what the alliance is de facto. Today, Ukraine is applying to make it de jure in a process that is consistent with our value in protecting our entire community in our expedited manner. We are taking our decisive steps by signing Ukraine's application for accelerated access to NATO." You can watch Zelensky. I'm not going to watch the video. The move comes after President Biden insisted that under any circumstances, the United States would never recognize any territories in Ukraine annexed by Russia, which critics say only happened because Russia rigged the referendum votes in the 4 areas in Ukraine it plans to take over, which include Luhansk, Donetsk, and Kherson region, and the I'm gonna kill this word, Zaporizhzhia region. The move is being described as the biggest land grab since World War II. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken echoed the president's statements, CNBC reported. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken slammed Russia's attempt at a land grab in Ukraine and said that the U.S. will never recognize the results of the Kremlin. Making matters trickier was news Friday that the Biden administration announced another round of sanctions against Russia and certain Russian individuals after Putin announced his plans to annex parts of the Ukraine. The Department of Treasury, Commerce, and State announced separate sanctions against Russia. My question is, why are they sanctioning? I understand what's the word? I understand the sanctions on Russia, but why do you sanction individuals? In other words, while the West has so far avoided conflict with Russia, nobody is out of the woods at this point. It's unclear when NATO member states will begin the process of considering Ukraine's membership, but several countries, including Germany and France, have denied Ukraine's inclusion in the past. So we'll see what happens. They're really trying to start World War III here. Young rapper who skated after shooting cops burst into tears when he learns new gun charge. I'm not really gonna read this. I'm just gonna talk about this. This rapper, like he calls himself. Well, let me go ahead and read it. Cameron Williams is a young man who many faces. He's a drill rapper, allegedly a Crip, self-professed, and a shooter of cops. But after his latest stunt, he will also be known as a crybaby who sobs when actually faced with consequences. See, this is the thing. Not all these rappers. Some of these rappers, they pretend like they're like these big bad, gangsters and all this stuff. But then when it's time to go to prison, he's sitting here crying. He's a kid, a 17-year-old, who also goes by the stage name C Blue, reportedly began crying after hearing that he would be held on $100,000 bail for a new gun charge. Williams was arrested on Tuesday for allegedly carrying a loaded Brico Arms 9mm handgun. Brock's assistant director attorney, Elena Bradley, implored Judge Joseph McCormick to take the new charges against the rapper seriously and cited his being a self-professed gang member as just one of the many reasons he shouldn't be returned to the streets with no consequence. But my thing is, what was he doing on the street in the first place? How do you shoot a police officer and then you're out walking around being able to carry a gun? Like, this is New York. This is New York for you. This is Adams, New York. I really had hopes that Adams was going to come in and clean up New York, but he's definitely not doing it. Williams, a self-professed member of the Crips, Brady explained during the arraignment. Social media contains multiple posts with firearms and implications of willingness and ready ability to shoot any member of the opposition. The teen's lawyer, Don Florio, tried to play up his youth. That doesn't save you. And convinced Judge McCormick that Williams was traumatized and targeted by the police and was just trying to call his mommy. This is crazy. My client was outside a car, she argued. Police comes with their guns out, circling around the block. A lot of video surveillance taken by cameras. Police targeted my client, gun drawn. He was scared and his life. I'm scared for his life. He took out his phone. His hands were up. Prominent drill rapper persona and posting on social media dissing other people, she continued. He didn't get into a fight. He's scared. He's really traumatized by the whole event. He lost all his month. His month. I don't know what that means. He's a boy. I don't know what that means. He lost all his month. Fortunately, the judge had the good sense to recognize that Williams is a repeat offender who managed to get away with shooting a police officer, and this wasn't simply a one-off incident or a momentary lapse of judgment. Quote, I know this is the third contact with the criminal justice system, Judge McCormick said. This is a serious offense. Williams was previously arrested on firearms-related charges, including some that date back to when he was 14 years old, showing that old habits are sometimes hard to break. But my thing is, how did he get... I was hoping they had a video. They don't have a video of him crying. I don't understand. How did he shoot a cop and he get off on it? I'm going to have to do some research on that. How did he get away with that? Now, this story right here, it really... It scares me because it makes me wonder what's really going on. Get out. CCP, China reportedly has overseas police stations in U.S. and Canada. How are they allowed to function as a police in another country? How? So let's read this and find out. If you follow my work, this is from Nick Kangadis. He's from MRC TV. But he says, if you followed my work at all over the past 7 years or so, you know that there's a few things I always believe. Politicians and the media do not have your best interests at heart, and that's what I always say. Pretty much ever. Comedy should be PC-proof. I agree with that. And China, at the very least, those within the Communist Chinese Party, or CCP, is the scourge of the earth. We agree. I totally agree with everything he's just said. There's no anti-Asian hate here, only anti-communist hate. Fox News report on Thursday that China has, quote, dozens of overseas police service stations across the globe, with 3 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and even 1 in New York City. Wow. Don't worry, these stations aren't going to be used to spy as spy stations. Note that's called sarcasm. Yeah, I definitely get that. According to the outlet, quote, these operations eschew official bilateral police and judicial cooperation and violate the international rule of law and may violate the territorial integrity in third countries involved in setting up a parallel policing mechanism using illegal methods, reads a report by Safeguard Defenders, a human rights watchdog release this month. I'm going to have to save this article because I know I'm going to use it again. The report, titled 110 Overseas Chinese Transnational Policing Gone Wild, details China's extensive effort to combat fraud by its citizens living overseas, in part by opening several police stations on 5 continents that have assisted Chinese authorities in, quote, carrying out policing operations on foreign soil, which is illegal. You can't do that. You can't go to another country and carry out policing operations. I understand that President Beijing Biden will never upset his CCP masters unless he absolutely has no choice. But where is anybody to tell the Chinese that they have no jurisdiction in the U.S.? It's bad enough they spy on the younger generation every minute of the day through the social media platforms like TikTok. But for them to use the excuse of policing Chinese and Chinese Americans in foreign countries who left China because it's an authoritarian hellhole, oversteps their bounds. If they really want someone bad enough to place in their concentration camps, work camps, ask the country to extradite who they like and have the country tell China to kick rocks. Winnie the Pooh, also known as Chinese dictator Xi Jinping, has been attempting to exert his will over other nations for years, and with a coward like Biden in the Oval Office, it makes one wonder just how much influence Xi has over the regime in charge of It's not influence. They own him. They have dirt on him. At some point, however, someone in our government that actually has a set of stones is gonna have to stand up to the CCP and tell them to get the hell out. Oh, let's see. What is this here? The headline would be first female Italian prime minister, but since Giorgia Meloni ran on God, country, and family, they have to tear her down. Oh, this is just something separate. So yeah, it's crazy that they are allowed to operate on U.S. soil like that. And we know that Biden is not going to check them. Let's see, do they have the video for this one? Comedian Trevor Noah says, "My time is up," announces departure from The Daily Show after 7 years. He was never funny to me. I always thought he was corny. I think I maybe laughed at maybe 2 of his jokes. And one of the jokes I actually talked about the other day was where he was joking on Biden about him forgetting that the congresswoman had passed away. But I'd always thought Trevor Noah was unfunny. The Daily Show, the place where low information voters get their news. And that's true. When you get your news from comedy, that said something about you. From a comedian, that says something about you. But information voters get their news is going to get a makeover soon, as host Trevor Noah has announced he will be leaving the show. Noah might be returning to a time when he actually was funny. I've never thought he was funny, to be honest with you. His comedies, before he even was on The Daily Show, I always thought he was corny. But after posting a video statement on Twitter on Thursday making the announcement, quote, "It's been absolutely amazing." Let me see. Do I got the video here? Yeah, let's play the video here.
Before we go, I was chatting to Roy Wood Jr. Yesterday when we finished the show, and he reminded me that it has been 7 years since we started The Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
And it's been going downhill ever since. I mean, I was never really a fan of Jon Stewart, but at least he was semi-funny sometimes.
Yeah, this week is our anniversary. And one of the overriding feelings I found myself experiencing throughout the night and even today waking up was a feeling of gratitude. You know, Ronnie, like the journey we've been on together has been wild. You know, Roy, you know, all the correspondents, everyone. There's so many people who make this thing come together. And I want to say thank you to the audience for an amazing 7 years. It's been wild. It's been truly wild. You know,
I'm not gonna watch the full announcement. But let me see what he. The 38-year-old South African native has returned to his stand-up stage over the last year or two after the pandemic attempted to kill comedy, among other things. And while he did the occasional stand-up special during his tenure at the Daily Show, I can honestly say that I haven't seen his act since watching his routine in the early 2010s. Yeah, you ain't missed nothing. So basically, he's leaving the Daily Show. I don't have any ill will towards him. I just never really thought he was funny. His takes was kind of weird, but I wish him the best of luck. Let's see, the Planned Parenthood doctor Bivik Kumar. Men can have pregnancies. Like, this is the stuff that I'm talking about. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. This nonsensical stuff that they try to push on people and say stuff that we know is scientifically untrue. So let's see what he has to say.
And let's just keep it real simple. Just 2 yes or no questions. And this is for Dr. Kumar. Dr.
Simple
Kumar,
yes or no.
can biological men become pregnant and give birth?
Now, mind you, he says biological men.
So men can have pregnancies, especially trans men.
That's not what he said. He said biological men. And he wouldn't. It said trans men can. This is
We basically had inflation under control for 40 years, despite the fact that the price of oil fluctuated, despite the fact that there were all kinds of supply shocks. We lost the thread, along with many other countries, about a year and a half ago with massively expansionary policies relative to the size of the GDP during the financial crisis.
All right, let's see what else we got going on.
We missed you.
Thank you.
These last 4 years. Did you miss you? Did you ever look at something going on? A bunch of stuff you don't actually have.
See if there's any new
I just wanted
videos.
to return to this question of the Congresswoman, and I think we all totally get why she's top of mind. You've made that case pretty effectively. But I think the confusing part
No, she didn't make the case effectively.
is why, if she and the family is top of mind, does the president think that she's living and in the room?
I don't find that confusing. I mean, I think many people can speak to sometimes when you have someone top of mind, they're a top of mind, exactly that. And it is all.
We went over that.
Let me be clear. If you're in a state where hurricanes often strike, like Florida or the Gulf Coast or into Texas,
older news.
a
So
vital part.
I'm not going to go over this, but let's see if there's any other piece of news we can cover we might have missed since we've been on. Top of mind. I think I should make a T-shirt with Biden looking confused and say top and put top of mind on it. That'd be a really funny T-shirt. Biden vows to ban assault weapons in the U.S. Katie Hobbs discriminated against black staff. Billboard pops up in Arizona. Exposed top Democrat safer record on racism. I told you, the people on the left are the actual racists, not the conservatives. 9/11 responder, months from her retirement, is murdered in broad daylight on New York streets. And that's New York for you. People they don't care that it's daytime. They don't care that there's cameras everywhere. They don't care about any of that stuff. No one is safe in these big Democrat-ran cities. No one. It's a cult. Whoopi unveils Little Amal, a terrifying 15-foot puppet that she calls a powerful symbol of human rights. Okay, whatever. Pelosi says illegal aliens need to stay in Florida to pick the crops down here. Wow. We gotta watch this. Wow. These people are horrible. And they call conservative the racist ones. But nothing can be further from the truth. It really comes out sometimes. It really comes out in these people. Did Nancy Pelosi drink too much vodka this morning? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Friday let the mask slip and said illegal aliens need to stay in Florida to pick crops. Don't ship the illegals to Martha's Vineyard because they need to work on the farms in the South, so says Democrat Nancy Pelosi. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis recently sent 2 planes of illegals to Martha's Vineyard, and we covered that to ad nauseum. The racist white limousine liberal on Martha's Vineyard freaked out and immediately deported the illegals. Pelosi said the illegals need to stay in Florida so they can pick fruit. So let's watch it. Wow.
The fact is that we have a responsibility to secure our border. We also have a responsibility to recognize the importance of newcomers to our nation. Right now, the best thing that we can do for our economy is to have comprehensive immigration reform. We have a shortage of workers in our country, and you see even in Florida, some of the farmers and the growers saying, why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here. But that doesn't mean that we don't recognize our moral responsibility as well. When the president, the former,
my gosh,
occasional occupant of the White House.
Occasional occupant of the White House. That's what she called Trump. She is drunk. She is drunk.
The fact is that
she is drunk. Dan Eberhardt said, not the best look for Democrats to say they want minorities to stop going to the North so they can instead pick crops in the South. I gotta retweet that. That's pretty funny. Oh man, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. I gotta retweet this. Oops, wrong. Clicked the wrong thing. Come on, computer. There we go. Oh, that's the wrong one? I retweeted the wrong one. I did. I retweeted the wrong one. Here we go. You can tell I'm not really big on Twitter like that. So let me go to my profile real quick and delete the last one. I mean the one before that. Delete this one. Where's the delete? The retweet. Where's the retweet? I should be able to delete this, right? Mute, embed, follow. How do I can you unretweet? Yeah, there we go. Undo. There we go. That's what I meant to retweet. That is hilarious. All right. Let's see what else we got. What is going on with my computer right now? Apologize. There we go. All right. What else we got going on? Putin illegal annexation of Ukraine territory marks beginning of a war without perceivable end. Jeez, Lord. All right, let's see. Zero Hedge. Memory hold part 2. The rigged election. U.S. hits Chinese firm with new sanctions over Iranian oil. Yet another Democrat witness claims biological men have pregnancies. And we talked about that. India, China, Brazil abstain from UN vote condemning Russia annexation. Pivot, Hope, Punisher, Power leaves Q3. Let's see. We will now find out what Putin does when it's sovereign Russia that is being attacked. Just kidding. Biden yanks student loan forgiveness from 770,000 borrowers. I've seen this on the Shade Room. Even they were like, "Wait a minute, what?" I told y'all Biden was playing y'all. Panic seems to be in the air. We got the Daily Caller. Dems failed to derail Arizona landmark school choice program. Former tenant charged with arson in connection with apartment fire that killed 4. Putin blames Anglo-Saxons for Nord Stream pipeline explosion. Anglo-Saxons. The Fairway cigarette and its enemies. Are you kidding me? Jim Jordan lambasts FBI for retaliation. We went over that. Outrageous Satanism. Putin goes on lengthy rant condemning the West over apartheid. Child sex changes. Wow. Even Putin is saying, y'all, what are y'all doing over there? South Carolina piers collapsing. One floating south as Ian strikes again. I'm praying for you people out there. Arguably, maybe sounds slightly less stupid. The left replaces one of its least popular woke terms. Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, and the new fascism. Murder charge for ND man who allegedly ran down Republican extremists. Good. I don't understand how he was able to get out of jail the next day. The man is independent and stubborn. Jeannie Thomas smacks down rumors that her politics influenced Justice Thomas. Because, a black man can't have his own ideas. It got to be coming from his white wife. That's basically what they're saying. These people are racist, man. These people are racist. If you're a conservative and you black. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Newsom signs bill allowing criminals to hide records from background checks. Wow. California is just a cesspool. Newsom signs bill making California sanctuary city for child gender surgery. He's just signing these bills that's going to ruin their. I don't even care about the laws that they do in California. Let California have their idiocracy laws. It's fine as long as they don't try to export that to the rest of the country. They can do whatever they want over there. Just don't try to force your views over here. Lawsuit: Wisconsin election commission let electors change vote after submitting ballots. I don't get that. Oh, it's a lawsuit. They let them change it. Wow. Maureen Morris has zero understanding of country music fans. Newsom signs bill to let California strip gender-confused teens from parents, even when they live in other states. What? Wow. So if you got a teenager and you don't agree with them with their gender confusion, the state can come take them from you. Even if they're in another state. You can't do that in another state. You have no jurisdiction, California. New York Times helps Biden pretend he's fixing border asylum scam when he's literally making it worse. Lizzo twerking with Madison flute is the antithesis of civilizational excellence. I'm sure they're joking there. Let them pick oranges. We went over that already. Tough on gun. Illinois, tough on gun, soft on crime. Catholic Joe Biden thinks he's really a really good Jew. Huh? Yeah, I thought he was Catholic. I don't get it. This spin on Biden's Wolowski gaffe will make you dizzy. Woke trans madness targeting religious freedom, but faithful are fighting back. Let's see what else we got going on here. What else do we have going on here? Let's check Twitter really quick. I know it's just there, but let's check Twitter to make sure nothing else is going on before we end it for today. And check out my Instagram. I'll still be posting news throughout the day, so be checking my Instagram if you want to be informed. JJ the psychotherapist. Let's see. Gavin Newsom, we went over that. How not to sound like a slave owner. Men of Order. Update. It's actually be Dave Smith and Rogan on the screen. I don't get it. Oh, on the screen. I got you. All right, let's see here. Our society has a problem with properly taking an L. Losing sucks and you should be pissed when you lose, but at some point you need to humbly tip your cap to the opponent, look in the mirror for improvements, and take ownership and move forward. I agree. Let's see. Just talk to a few more advertisers that are pulling away from Twitter next week because Twitter didn't deal with their child sexual abuse material problem. Good for her. She does great work. Eliza. Socrates. Yep, my parents have been giving me that same worthless advice for 10 years. They have no idea how much the game has changed since we're playing. What I don't know what they're referring to there, but I'm not going to go into it right now. A type of lemur called white Siphacus hug tree trunks to cool down when temperature top 30 degrees Celsius. Wow. Interesting. Literal tree huggers. Let's see. All right. As AG, Cortez could have brought R and murderers to justice, but didn't. She ignored 8,000 untested R kits while criminals roamed the streets. Wow. Clapper versus Biden on Nord Stream. Let's check this out.
First, Russia has done what it frequently does when it is responsible for something, which is make accusations that it was really someone else who did it. We've seen this repeatedly over time.
If Russia invades the border of Ukraine again, then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
I promise you we'll be able to do it.
I don't want to get ahead of myself in terms of asserting how exactly this happened or who exactly did it. First, Russia has done what it frequently does when it is responsible for something, which is make accusations.
Everyone that's paying attention knows that this would not benefit Russia at all. Again, as I said before, because they lose their leverage. So why would they blow up that pipeline where that they're leveraging? That was the only chip they really had, and they lose that chip. So it makes no logical sense for them to blow up that pipeline. Tesla AI Day 2022 starts at precisely 6:15 p.m. California time. Elon Musk. Let's see what we got here. What Uncle Hotep got going on here? I heard HJ, that's Hotep Jesus, got a part in a new remake of The Color Purple. It's pretty funny. What else we got going on? Report finds Netflix could face another massive subscriber loss. That's what happened. Go woke, go broke. Flagrantly illegal. Foundation files massive suit against Biden's unjust and elitist student loan plan. Trump advisor launches MAGA Inc. PAC to support Trump endorsed candidates. Let's see. Julie Kelly says this regime is pouring tens of billions into one of the whitest countries on earth, but warning white Americans to get in the back of the line for their own money to recover from the catastrophic hurricane, and watch her malicious facial expression at the end.
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by issues that are not of their own making. And so women. Absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. And if we want people to be in an equal place, sometimes we have to take into account those disparities and do that work.
All right, Marissa Hanson, I love her work. She says, remember when they said what they said about when they said about 45? I'm pretty sure she meant what. Remember what they said this about 45. Trump will cause a nuclear war. Trump will cause World War III. Trump will cause the stock market to crash. Trump committed foreign collusion. Trump took classified documents. Trump will ruin the economy. Trump is a bigot. Yeah. Classic projection. The Dems show classic projection. Oh. Yeah. All right. Oops. That's the wrong one. Can I take that back? I keep messing up, y'all. Y'all know I'm Boomer Tech over here. Let me go back. Let me check my profile and see if I tweeted the right thing. I think it was the wrong one. Nope, wrong one. Y'all know I'm struggle. I struggle here. Struggle cast. Delete. Go back. This is what I wanted to retweet here. Quote tweet here, I mean. This is what I meant. There we go. Boomer Tech. What do we got here? On the hunt, Hunter Biden begged most wanted armed robber to mail crack cocaine to him at luxury hotel. Wow. This dude, the hits keep coming. The hits keep coming with the Bidens, and no one's report on this. Mainstream media never reports on any of this. You never hear The View talk about Hunter Biden or Joe Biden negatively, for that matter. Let's see. After Biden, Planned Parenthood is the best at making no sense. Yeah. Boomers don't understand that young men must be exceptional even to live an extraordinary life. The world changed. Just say hi and be yourself. OMG. That advice is child abuse. Don't even comment. What? Go back to whatever time capsule you're stuck in. Life today, you gotta be on point. What? That doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Judicial Watch filed a lawsuit against Secretary of State of California for having YouTube censor a Judicial Watch election integrity video. Good for them. Let's see what else we got going on. Alright, I think that's all the news I'm gonna cover for today. I appreciate y'all for watching. Check out, follow me on all my socials, link in the description. I got a Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. Also follow me on Instagram. Check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.